So the first thing that I want you to do is label all of the lines in this grid all the way around and put this X and Y here to help you remember where the locations are on this grid. So if I'm working and I want to start, let's see, right here, I'm going to make a grassy bottom right here. I know that rectangles, when they start drawing, they're from the left corner. So I know that I'm going over 0 and down 300. So for this block, I'm going to make a rectangle that starts at 0, 300. It's 400 pixels wide and 100 pixels tall. That's going to help me when I go to draw this. I'm going to do a simple game background for a game that some of the 8th graders made in the 8th grade elective. It's Raining Cats and Dogs. So there are cats and dogs falling down the screen and a little kid that's moving around trying to catch them. So this background has like some cute little trees and maybe a house and some clouds in the sky, but it's going to be a really dark picture. So I'm going to pick darker colors for this. So I would have to plan each of these, and this one's 100 and 100 tall. This is just helping me plan it out. Triangles are a little harder. They draw from about right there. So you'll plan out and use the regular polygon. If you go back into the notes in Google Classroom, you'll be able to see that. So for this tree, I'm starting at 300, 200. It's about 20 pixels wide and 100 tall. And then I have an ellipse right here that's probably 310, maybe. Maybe. I'll have to play with those numbers a little bit. And 160 maybe down, and then I think it's probably going to be about 75 and 75 to get that. You kind of get the point, I hope. When you get in, you don't need to write all of these out. It might help you, though, when you get into the program. So once you've done this planning, you should jump into Game Lab. So let me quick show you some examples before I show you how to do the drawing part. So here's one thing we're going to create together. This is what we're using that fish tank or underwater scene for, is this fish tank game where these fish are racing each other. Another game that we will create is a snail game. This is how we're going to learn how to make things move on the screen with the keyboard. So we have this little snail, and he moves around the screen when we use our up, down, left, and right arrows. So maybe you want to make a game that's a similar kind of maze game. We're going to make a really simple outer space. Oh, that's the not moving one. Let me find one. That's the one you're going to get. Oh, here's the popsicle. Here's the popsicle run. So we're going to use the mouse to move this player around. He's trying to collect all these popsicles and avoid the monsters that are dropping. Ah, got one. All right, so that has a really cool background to it. And an outer space background. Where's the regular game? See if I can find one. Here we go. So this is just having things move. So it just has little stars, and I used an ellipse for each of these. I would make this more detailed if you were going to do something like that. So once you decide and draw the hand drawing, go and create a new project and start planning it out. So when I look at mine, let me pull this screen over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing while I'm thinking about it here. So here's my drawing, and I'm going to start by doing the background color. So I'm going to pull out a comment, and I'm going to say background, and I'm going to do a really dark color. So if you go and Google HTML color names and go to this website, there is a really nice dim gray that looks great. I'm going to pull out background of dim gray. And then I'm going to say no stroke because I don't want any background lines. And I'm going to start with the grass on the bottom. So I would pick a dark green color. I know that's the color I want. Dark green. No caps, no spaces. And I'll draw a rectangle here. And I can see that starts at 0, 300. So 0, 300. And I can see that I said it's 400 wide and 100 tall. So 400 wide and 100 tall. And you can see that right here. X, Y with height. X, Y with height. So if I run this, there's my start to my background. If I show the grid, then I can see where those grid lines are at. Remember when you're moving your mouse around to plan, if you look at the very bottom under this reset button, when my mouse is in here, the X and Y show up down there. It tells me right where I am. It's not magic. I would never be able to figure that out on my own. So if I was going to start this tree at about 300, 200, I would grab that tree, and I'm going to do that. I don't want a saddle brown, I want a darker brown than that. Because this is a dark scene, so it's going to be really, really, ooh, saddle brown's dark, but maybe not dark enough. Maybe fire, dark red? I don't know, we need something dark. We'll try the dark red for right now and see what it looks like. And I'll do a rectangle that starts at 300, 200, 20 wide, and 100 tall. So there's that tree. That color actually works pretty well. And I'll just keep going till I draw my screen. Now if I want to move something further to the left, I'm going to make this number smaller. The X is this way. So if I said 250, there it moves over to the left. If I want to move something up and down, I would go less for up and more for down. So if I wanted this to be like it was in the grass, I would do that. It moves it down. 225 is bigger than 200. So that's what I would like you to work on today. I do not expect you to get finished. If you do, please take some time to make some more details in it. Think about how I went back in my fish tank that we were working on, and I started adding little colorful pebbles along the bottom of it to give it more. Maybe I'd add some bubbles here in the background or more stalks. Make your background interesting.